Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us for part one of our three-part live webinar series. I'm Casper Smithson, Chief Operating Officer at PastView, and I'm delighted to be your host for this session. Before we begin, a few quick housekeeping notes. You can use the Q&A panel at any time to raise questions, which we'll address at the end of the presentation. Who is Archival One? Archival One is a unique collaboration between three expert partners, HAI, NOS, and PastView, designed to support archives at every stage of their journey. Together, we offer a seamless end-to-end service from physical collection management and organization to digitization, and finally to something really exciting, bringing your collections to life online through our engaging access and discovery platform, PastView. But this is more than just a linear process. While many archives benefit from the full journey of organizing, digitizing, and publicizing, we recognize that every organization is different. That's why Archival One is designed to be flexible. Whether you're starting from scratch, midway through, or ready to share your collections, you can choose the relevant service that suits your needs. Today, in part one, we're focusing on organizing your archives, working with physical collections to prepare and manage them effectively before they're ready for digitization. Parts 2 and 3 will dive into digitizing your materials and then showing you how to transform those digitized assets into an engaging, searchable, and accessible online experience using our powerful PastView platform. We encourage you to follow the full series to see how everything seamlessly fits together. It's now my pleasure to introduce today's speakers. Our first presenter is Brandon Wirtz, Assistant Director of Archives at HAI. Brandon brings extensive experience in archival management and digital preservation. He's passionate about ensuring archival collections remain accessible and engaging for diverse audiences. Brandon will be sharing insights from his work and expertise for managing large-scale archival projects. Following Brandon, we'll hear from Danny Harbison, Vice President and Partner at NOS. Danny specializes in innovative digitization solutions and strategic planning, helping institutions optimize how they preserve and present their collections. He'll discuss key strategies and the latest trends shaping the archival landscape. Finally, I'll wrap up today's presentations. At PastView, we're dedicated to transforming how archives connect communities with their history through cutting-edge digital platforms. We have an exciting session ahead, so let's get started.
Thanks, Casper. Hello, everybody. I am Brandon Wirtz, the Assistant Director of Archives and Information Management Services at HAI. First, a little bit about History Associates. HAI has been providing archival and historical services since 1981. We were born from a U.S. Department of Energy contract recounting the events leading up to the 3 Mile Island catastrophe, drafted by 3 of our founding members. History wasn't distant, it was happening now, and these vanguard public historians knew that they could make it a business. Since then, HAI has expanded to our current robust team of over 50 archivists, collections managers, and historians. Our work focuses on 3 service lines: research and analysis, the original foundation of HAI's business; exhibits and interpretive planning for all types of special projects; and the division most involved with the Archival One service, Archives and Information Management. Our service lines work individually or in tandem to meet the needs of our clients. There is little that we love more than a complex project that forces all of our teams to work together to achieve a client's goals. We provide a variety of services that are custom tailored to your organization's mission and your collection's needs, ranging from historical research and exhibition projects, organizational history and storytelling, comprehensive collections assessments, surveys and inventories, collection processing and rehousing, cataloging, retention and records management, and all manner of digital archives. HAI's mission is to work with you and your collections to reach your goals. Now, why choose Archival One? Mounting archives and records processing work, digitization efforts, and publishing collections are large-scale projects on their own. Dedicating the time and resources to accomplish the full scope of Archival One's capabilities can be a years-long effort for a staff who have additional daily responsibilities. We often speak with organizations who have tried to accomplish this work internally while managing those normal day-to-day functions, or who have had this type of project on their to-do list, but can't find the resources to mount it. The story is always familiar. We tried to accomplish all of this, but found that picking up one big project brought everything else to a standstill, or we couldn't even initiate anything else. We've been waiting for our workloads to allow us the freedom to plan a project like this, but the timing and resourcing has never worked out. We know we want something, but a project of this scope is out of our wheelhouse. Hiring Archival One addresses many of those challenges inherent in mounting these types of projects. We can alleviate the staffing and time constraints that may prevent your organization from processing, preserving, and publishing your collections. Your collections are handled by a large and experienced staff along the way. Our team size allows us to shift in and out of the project seamlessly, ensuring that each phase moves along according to plan. Our work with a wide variety of clients and collections has given our staff a uniquely broad scope of experience. Our project teams often pose questions for the entire staff and are able to pull from the extensive knowledge base to problem solve and provide the best recommendations. Our position outside of your organization allows us to approach your collections from a neutral perspective. We're able to provide options and solutions to problems without the influence of internal conversations, debates, and most likely some heated arguments. We make our recommendations and perform the work with an unbiased consideration for your needs and the ways to implement best practices. Finally, our partnership approach to the process allows our clients to mount multi-phase projects easily, working with representatives from each company throughout the entire process, ensuring that project outcomes meet your visions and expectations. We're three companies working as one, combining our extensive industry knowledge to accomplish complex work and deliver exquisite results, which is a great selling point. Getting community and stakeholder support for projects like these can be difficult, for all the reasons I've just covered and more. Staffing, know-how, resourcing. Presenting the Archival One approach to these projects is a great way to spark engagement. We're happy to provide you with a comprehensive proposal package that you can share with your stakeholders. You can show them the possibilities of working with Archival One and let us get you there. Now, your published digital collection, organized, accessible, and online, is the glamorous and the flashy part of the Archival One process. The path to that digital collection deserves the thoughtful planning, hands-on work, and collaboration that this partnership is built upon. HAI prides ourselves on our role in this partnership, addressing some of the core elements of the collection management, solidifying your archives program, and preparing your collections to move into the digital realm. HAI's contributions focus on the detail-oriented tasks that start your collections down that path. To some, these tasks are tedious and monotonous. To us, these tasks are a foundation for your archives and essential to growth, whether you're using them internally, through exhibitions, or providing access to researchers. No matter the state of your collections, we're ready to help. From a basement packed with boxes of unsorted papers, into an archive full of fresh archival boxes, uniformly labeled, beautiful on shelves. Or from a hard drive full of mystery files, into a well-organized, engaging, and accessible digital collection. It all starts with a conversation that will help us to develop a roadmap to take your collections from their current state and make them look like the processed and accessible collections, both physical and digital, that your organization has envisioned. HAI's plan of action is influenced directly by the current state of your archives. Our initial conversation often leads to a collections assessment in which HAI will visit your archives to survey the collection, observe the environment, review the government's documentation, and learn the strengths, weaknesses, and goals for the collections through conversations with your archive stakeholders. We aim to understand what your collections hold, who uses them, how they use them, and your goals for the future of the archives. Using that information, we develop tailored recommendations for the next steps of the project. HAI's team is very adaptable, and we're adept at creating unique approaches to project work and blending into existing workflows. We're often approached by organizations who already have partially processed collections, who may be short on processing staff, or who have a collection backlog that needs attention before it consumes the entire storage area. We don't always start from scratch when it comes to planning a project. HAI's team will create a plan that picks up at any stage of existing work and fits the staffing needs of your organization. This may include physical processing on partially processed or unprocessed collections, describing collections, preparing your collections for digitization through inventory and metadata. We're available to assist with the packing the collection and coordinating shipment to and from NOS for digitization. We'll facilitate the ingest of your new digital collections to your collections management system and on to PastView's publishing platform. Archival processing may include a variety of tasks that will ensure your archival materials are identified, organized, documented, and accessible for users. We're happy to mount new processing projects, continue working with the partially processed collections, or enhance previously processed materials. Our full-level processing, the most detailed approach to your collection, is generally based on the following tasks. We'll begin with a detailed appraisal of the collection in which our archivists will survey the contents of the archives to identify the scope of the materials, create a logical organization scheme, flag materials for deaccessioning, and identify any preservation concerns. Our team then begins systematically arranging the materials into the series identified during the appraisal, maintaining original order whenever possible. We'll perform basic preservation tasks, including the rehousing of your collection into archival containers as necessary, removing harmful fasteners, and making preservation copies of at-risk materials as needed. We'll create a detailed description of your collection through tools, including finding aids and container lists. We can assist with cataloging your collections, utilizing our extensive experience with a wide variety of collections management platforms to increase the discoverability and accessibility of your collections. We're often asked to create processing and cataloging manuals that we can leave behind to guide future work by internal staff and sometimes even volunteers. At the end of our processing work, your collections will be fully organized, labeled, described, and accessible, and preserved for a long life in your archives. As I mentioned, we can do as much or as little of this type of processing that your collections require. I have personally worked on projects as varied as a collection of 50 plus years of meticulously curated materials, folded and labeled along the way, that really only required preservation, rehousing, and an inventory. I've also worked on projects like that basement you saw earlier, hurriedly packed by a moving company sometime in 2021, using the classic dump the drawer or the shelf into a box and go method of packing. Throughout these projects, HAI maintains constant dialogue with our Archival One partners to ensure that our work provides a strong foundation for each step of our collaborative efforts. We work with the team at NOS to develop a digitization playbook, which supports the digitization efforts and the ingest and implementation of your digital collections through PastView. Our playbook typically includes the identification of technical standards for digitization of the various elements in your collection, special handling requirements for the materials, metadata requirements, taxonomy schemas, naming conventions, and a scanning workflow. HAI can help you prioritize your collections for digitization and prepare an inventory and collect the metadata about those materials. HAI's inventory is populated by the metadata standards that we outline in our scanning playbook, which will be associated with your digital materials, ensuring a smooth and speedy transition from a collection of digital assets into an accessible and usable digital collection. This information gathered during this phase of work is essential in making your collections usable and often overlooked when considering a digitization project. The process of digitizing your records provides a replication of the physical, but nothing more. Our data collection provides detail and context to your digital assets that make them searchable, accessible, and usable in a content management system and when published with PastView. Moving is the worst. HAI will assist with the safe delivery and return of your collections through the digitization process. We will ensure that your materials are packed safely for transportation. We'll create an inventory to track the materials along the way and coordinate the shipment to and from digitization. If it is desired, we will resurface at your facility to assist with receiving and reshelving of materials after the digitization process is complete, further limiting the burden on your staff. And with possibly hundreds of thousands of files in your digital collection, it is crucial to implement a digital asset management system to organize, access, and preserve the materials. Many clients come to us with these systems in place, but for some, this is an opportunity to employ a management system for the first time. HAI's team of archivists have extensive knowledge of digital asset management systems and are happy to provide recommendations and implementation assistance for software platforms that meet your organization's needs, goals, and limitations. For those with systems in place, we are familiar with a wide variety of technologies, and we can work in most system environments to ingest new collections. We've been asked by our clients if they really need to have a management system, and you betcha. There are options, of course, and they range from simple and inexpensive to state-of-the-art with the associated fees. Your collections, your user needs, and your limitations are factors that can influence what platform you choose. Using a basic file structure for your collections and a simple access method, like the File Explorer on your PC, is not a problem when you're searching through 184 photos of your family vacation. It becomes a much greater issue when you're browsing 184,000 images of events that happened before you were born. Selecting a system that fits your collections and your user needs is essential as a tool for successful collections management. HAI's team will also help you implement any system changes you may require, assistance with data migration, and facilitate the transfer of your collections and the associated to PastView for ingest and online publishing. I feel as though I've been going on about HAI's work extensively, but I've really only scratched the surface of what we can do. We're very excited to help you solidify the foundation of your archives and embark on the path to digital collections. I hope that you feel as though you've got an idea of the steps that HAI has identified as essential to preparing your collections for the increased physical use and facilitating processing of digitization and digital publishing. Now, let's move back a step in our workflow and allow me to introduce Danny Harbison of NOS to share some insight into the digitization aspect of Archival One's services. Take it away, Danny.
Thank you, Brandon, for the wonderful presentation. Good morning, or I should say good afternoon or good evening, I guess, depending on where you're calling from. And thanks for joining us today. My name is Danny Harbison. I'm Vice President and Partner of NOS. We specialize in the digitization execution piece of this project. I'm going to give you a little bit of qualifying information about our company today, and then we're going to take a little deeper dive into the actual process and what that entails. First, let's introduce you to NOS. We are a company with deep roots in the DMV area. We have been around since 1977, so we're approaching our 50-year anniversary mark. We are now certified recently under the SBA's 8A program. For any federal folks that may be joining us on the call today, it allows us to bring our services to more clients and partners until 2033. NOS has grown and evolved substantially over the years, particularly through our technology division, which is twofold. We focus on digitization and archiving, and then we have another product that specializes in RFID asset tracking and management. Our services, our digitization services specifically, span various markets. We have done a significant amount of work on the corporate side, on the federal government side, on state and local, legal, nonprofit, association, you name it, we have more than likely worked with that market vertical. Whether we're working with a large corporation or helping nonprofits preserve valuable records and historical information, I think that we're pretty nimble as far as being adaptable and providing seamless support, because every project is different. You see a lot of similarities, but every project and every case is typically has its own nuance and differences. So we like to work with that. Our services include a very wide range of materials, such as paper records, historical bound books, photographs, negatives, large format drawings, blueprints, oversized items, microfiche, microfilm. You know, I'd like to think that we've pretty much seen it all, and we can service digitizing any type of media that comes across our desks. So we are located in Beltsville, Maryland, which is about halfway between Washington, D.C. and Baltimore. We have a large team in our central production facility here. We have a diverse portfolio of production grade scanners, top tier software, you know, to deliver exceptional image quality, accurate indexing, structured metadata, and so on. Everything is processed and tracked with meticulous attention to detail. It is, you know, for lack of a better term, essentially an assembly line where every single detail is tracked and managed along the way throughout a digitization effort. We handle, as I mentioned, any type of material, even the most fragile materials, with care, and ensure that there is seamless data migration and oversight throughout the process. The result is a digital archive. Our end result is a digital archive that's secure, organized, and ready for integration into your workflows. Let's take a quick look at the process and break it down a little bit here. So Brandon had mentioned this earlier. Step one of my process, where kind of the baton is passed to NOS, is that scanning playbook. You know, that's kind of the foundation for all of the digitization execution that we do. It establishes the foundation, it establishes the rules of engagement for the entire digitization effort, because some of the most, you know, one of the most important things in a digitization effort, particularly a nuanced or complex or large digitization effort, is ensuring consistency, quality standards, and clear, very crystal clear communication across all teams involved. After that scanning playbook has been established, we then move into proof of concept phase. This is you know, a very important phase of the project. It's sort of you know, the final check all before the pedal is put down to the floor. So we'll always do a small scale test of our workflow that's going to confirm technical feasibility. We're going to be refining any processes that we may need to along the way. And what it's really doing is aligning expectations between what you are getting in return and what we're delivering. We're making sure that we're all on the same page before full-scale execution takes place. The third step, and this is a little bit flexible here. So records transportation or resource deployment. So as I mentioned earlier, we're in Beltsville, Maryland. We do quite a bit of work in and around this area. And then we also deploy teams across the country. So this could be either records transport, or it could be a full-scale resource deployment on site to your location with hardware, personnel, software, anything else that's needed for a digitization effort. This is where we're taking custody of your physical materials and essentially kind of setting the stage for the actual execution of the digitization. Fourth step in the process is going to be the processing and the prep of the records. So this is where the team is organizing, they're inspecting, they're preparing the materials to be ready for digitization. So they're flagging, anything that may require special attention from our scanning operators. They're routing certain media to various types of equipment, scanning equipment that may need to be utilized. There were, in most cases, there's a need for multiple different types of scanners that are used depending on your project. So this prep phase is really important because it's sort of kind of like the traffic cop. You're routing the material, you're making sure it's ready, and making sure that the scanning operators are in line with where they need to be, and then everything moves into digitization and any additional metadata capture that needs to take place throughout the process. So we're capturing everything at a high resolution that's acceptable. That's where we're assigning any additional structured metadata, and we're at this point, those raw documents are beginning to transform into searchable digital assets. And then finally, and last certainly not least, the digital files are formatted, they're validated once again, and this is where we get ready to pass the baton again onto the PastView team. Before I do that, you can see in this diagram that we have quality control in the center of this. So quality control weaves in and out of our process at every single point. It's not just it's not at the end. It's in playbook creation, it's in proof of concept, transporter deployment, processing and prep, digitization and metadata tagging, and then exporting and importing. There are very defined and meticulous quality control procedures that are weaving in and out of our entire process. So that's critical to have an understanding of because it's the most important part of any effort. The last thing you want to do is go through a digitization effort and then get back a product that is either inadequate, was poorly done. That's never where anyone wants to be. So quality control is a very important part of this project. Going back to the baton being passed to the PastView team, this is where the publication of the content comes into play. And I had mentioned that as we're structuring the data and digitizing it, it's beginning to take life. This is where it really takes life. It goes from a static collection into a very vibrant, interactive, searchable resource that Casper is going to give you a flyover of. So Casper, you want to take it away from here?
Awesome, thanks, Danny. Brilliant. So thanks, Danny, for that. And I'm delighted to introduce you to PastView, our innovative discovery and access platform designed specifically to help organizations unlock and share their richness of their collections. Having worked closely with HAI and NOS, we've streamlined communication and data handling so that we can ensure your materials are structured, organized, and ready to engage with your audiences. So what is PastView? I want to spend a little bit of time today talking about what PastView is, and then just jump into a little bit of the areas that would help structure your collections and make those items discoverable. So PastView is a comprehensive digital collections management system designed to efficiently ingest, organize, and showcase digital content. At its core is a robust content management system, providing administrators with innovative access for adding, editing, and maintaining digital archival collections. Following the digitization process, NOS and PastView work collaboratively to facilitate timely access to digital archives. Our teams can effortlessly upload content according to the predefined schedules, ensuring archives are swiftly available and securely stored. Once content has been ingested into PastView and is available within the collections management system, PastView offers advanced capabilities to enhance the collections. This includes automated finding aids such as optical character recognition, OCR, for typed text, handwritten text recognition to make handwritten documents searchable, and transcription services for audio and visual collections to make these discoverable and searchable. These features significantly improve discoverability, enabling users to quickly and accurately search for and access valuable archival content. As we mentioned, this is a three-part series, so in the second installment of our webinar series, we'll be exploring the additional viewing capabilities of PastView, such as things like our page turn technologies and other functionality such as monetization. So we're going to take a closer look into some of the finding aids and the bits that pair with both the conversation that Brandon and Danny have gone through so far in this presentation. So taking a closer look into collection titles and descriptions. So an essential feature within PastView is the ability to manage collection titles and descriptions intuitively. Working with HAI, clearly labeled, described, and accessible collections allows users to effortlessly navigate vast amounts of content. By leveraging the information gathered during digitization, including HAI's comprehensive inventory, we can enrich the collections during ingest to ensure that collections are structured and have those important titles and descriptions so that it makes your archives immediately structured and user-friendly. Another layer of discovering is the searchability of the archive collections. Within the searchability of digital archives, it's paramount. And PastView employs attribute sets tailored into your collections to significantly enhance the discoverability. These sets enable users to filter and refine searches using specific criteria relevant to your organization, ensuring materials are not only preserved, but also actively engaged with and utilized efficiently. For example, journals, photographs, audio recordings, and newspapers can each have their own attribute set, allowing users to search by issue date, photographer, speaker, or publication title. This targeted approach makes it easier for users to find exactly what they need quickly. Structuring data with attributes within the PastView system. So in the PastView system, there are then attribute sets that set the foundation of the robust taxonomy framework. This is essential for the logical structuring and retrieval of data across diverse archive collections. Our implementation aligns with the established best practices drawing on the HAI and NOS digitization playbook, which includes comprehensive guidance on metadata standards, taxonomy schemas, and file naming conventions. Each content format is supported by bespoke metadata fields to reflect its unique characteristics. So if we take the earlier examples, such as photographs, this may include attributes that relate to the title, the date taken, copyright holder, and subject tags, all very important information that you then want to populate and make searchable. If we look at newspaper, this may include required fields like publisher, editor, publication date, and issue number, all of which that you can then do searches and filters on, depending on the different metadata and criteria searches from there, such as advanced filters to be able to use date sliders to be able to home in on that particular issue, or keyword to be able to identify specific publishers or editors from the newspaper collections. This structured and format-specific approach ensures clarity, consistency, and discoverability, enabling archives to become intuitive, user-friendly resources that serve the varied needs of different users. Looking at automatic finding aids, which is one of the areas that PastView significantly delivers upon, it really simplifies the archival discovery through automatic finding aids, dynamically generating metadata that reduces search time and enhances the user experience. Advanced technologies include text recognition, so the OCR and HTR, which is the optical character recognition and handwritten text recognition, which automatically transcribes on ingest both typed and handwritten content, making those exact examples keyword searchable. We also have audio-visual transcripts where we can convert spoken word into searchable text, increasing the accessibility of oral histories or other audio-visual collections. And soon we're releasing facial recognition and automated image tagging, which applies the ability to look through documents and automatically describe those photographs, or to be able to tag and identify individuals within those photographic content. So in conclusion, PastView provides the ideal platform for managing and showcasing your digital collections, combining ease of use, robust organization, and sophisticated search capabilities to preserve and share your archives publicly, privately, or through monetization. Thank you very much. I'll hand back to Brandon to open up to questions and answers.
Thank you, Casper, and thank you, Danny, both for that presentation. Looking here, I see no questions in our current Q&A feed. If there are questions, please feel free at this point to drop them into the Q&A chat there. But if not, please feel free to visit the Archival One website at any point in time and reach out as questions arise, or if you have projects in mind. We'll just give it a minute here. Let's see, fun facts about me. I have cats. I like music. I play drums. I enjoy hiking in forests. Let's see here. Do we have a question? Yes. In the event of PastView going away, how easy is it to get the records out?
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so yeah, in that unlikely circumstance, then yeah, it's always worth planning for the business continuity and being assured that the data is secure and safe. So there's several mechanisms that we use to secure the safety of the data. One of which is that there are metadata records that are shared either monthly or quarterly that supplies you with an export of the metadata, and ultimately the images as well, that we can supply those to you on export as well, or in the hope that you can have a copy of the original files for the images as well from there. So yeah, we have some pretty detailed policies on how we handle the sort of exit from there. And obviously, if you were to look to move into another platform as well, then we'd be able to support the migration there and work with you on that side.
Can NOS provide on-site digitization services instead of us shipping them out?
Yeah, good question. So NOS can absolutely do that. And it's actually become a very significant part of our digitization practice. I would say that typically we would do about 90% of the work here in Beltsville and arrange for transportation. I think that that's shifted here. in the last year and a half, where we're probably doing 30-35% of our work offsite. So we're very familiar with deploying resources, personnel, equipment, anything needed for a digitization effort, and getting that stood up relatively quickly and in a minimally disruptive fashion to the client.
Okay. Well, we've got about 5 minutes left in this webinar. If there are no more questions, I will pass it back to Casper. But again, please feel free to visit the website, ask as many questions as you like, and schedule a meeting with us to discuss a project and talk about a workflow. Casper, I'll hand it back to you.
Awesome, thanks, Brandon. And thank you everyone again for joining us for this part 1 in our 3-part webinar series. We hope today's session has given you valuable insight into how to approach organizing your physical collections, whether as a foundation for digitization or a standalone effort. Looking ahead, we invite you to join us for part 2 of our 3-part webinar series, Digitize, moving from a physical to digital archive, top tips and actionable steps to consider before you publish. The exact date and time will be shared in a follow-up email and posted on our Archival One LinkedIn profile, so stay tuned. And finally, in part 3, we'll show you how all of this work pays off by turning your digitized archives into rich, searchable and immersive digital experiences using PastView, our access and discovery platform that ensures your collections are not only preserved, but truly seen, used and appreciated on a global scale. Remember, Archival One is here to support you at every step of your journey. Whether you need the full service or just one step, we're here to help. Thank you very much for your time.